guys, Kim here, welcome to Backyard Blooms. In today's video, we are going to talk about deadheading roses. So particularly behind me, I have 4 quadrants of 4 different types of roses from David Austin. And they have just finished their final flush and they are going to rebloom throughout the summer. But in order to promote reblooming, I'm going to deadhead these roses and we're going to turn the camera around and show you up close. But behind me is a David Austin rose that's a shrub rose called Boscabelle. And it is a gorgeous pink corally color. Just love this rose. I'm gonna say it's one of my favorite roses. But we're gonna talk about pruning back a cluster and pruning back a single rose as well. So I'm gonna turn the camera around and show you up close how I'm gonna do this a little bit more in detail, just to give you an idea of how to properly prune a David Austin rose. So I have my pop-up bag and I'm gonna put all my spent blooms that I have in this pop-up bag. Everybody needs one of these bags. It is great. You can throw all your clippings in there and it just slides on the grass. I need a new one, by the way. Look at that. So anyways, these are the roses that I really need desperately to deadhead. As you can see, I have lots of spent blooms on here. So the very top of these are pretty much a cluster. So you can see that I have a cluster right here. This was a bloom, the deer ate that one. There's a bloom right there, and there's another bloom right there. So I'm gonna take this back to a set of 5. However, I wanna take it back to a set of 5 leaves, which I have right here, but I want this set of 5 to be going out towards this way, not going in towards the rose, because I wanna encourage growth to come out. So this, if I prune right here, this is where I'm gonna have new growth. So I'm gonna clip it here with my Felco pruners right there. And I'm gonna remove this whole cluster. So you can see these are my set of 5 and this is where I pruned it, and the leaves are pointing out towards this way, not in that way. If I went down to the next set of 5 leaves, which would have been right here, then the growth would have gone towards the middle of this 5 shrubs, and I don't want to encourage growth to go inside, if that makes any sense. So again, here is a cluster that's all spent right here. So I want to go down to the set of 5 and just remove the whole entire cluster. It should be right there, and these set of 5 are pointing outwards towards me, like so. And then we're going to remove that. So you can see that I've got a lot of work to do here. This is another cluster right here, and then I want to go down to the set of 5 leaves that's pointing out. This one's pointing inwards, and this one down here is pointing outwards. So that's where I'm going to make my cut. So by doing this, we're going to promote some new growth. This one is not a cluster right here. It was just a single. So I'm going to take it back down to the set of 5 and make my cut right there. Now, if I have, I'm trying to show you an example. If I have a cluster like I do up here, but I still have some really pretty blooms on it like I do this one right here, and I don't want to quite prune that one yet, then I'm just gonna like deadhead this rose right here. Just cut it off there and here. But yeah, this one's still a cluster, I believe. They're all intertwined. I think these blooms are on this cluster right here. So you see how I have a cluster here, but I got 2 pretty blooms on it still. Then I'm gonna take that one back and that one. And look, I have a nasty June bug already on my roses already. Ugh. So I guess I'm gonna have to spray for June bugs too. So we're gonna just take this one back. Right there, we'll just cut that one off. And bring it to me. And we're going to cut that one off as well, right there. And this is just some dead blooms right there. So actually this one right here, over here, is just a cluster. Right there, all spent blooms. So this is a really long cane, so I can take this one back a little bit further if I'd like, just to help prune this one up. So we're gonna take it back to this set of 5 leaves here, and I'm gonna take this whole piece off. So if that gives you any kind of idea how much I took off, just to kind of give it some shape. So yeah, I've got a lot of work to do right here. So I have an allium that I need to be removed, that's all spent. Lots and lots of deadheading, because this one was in its glory. I'm gonna say maybe a week or a week and a half ago. Just to kind of show you an idea of what kind of work I need to do here. And this one over here is Alexandra of Kent. And this is what the deer did to them. This was not my pruning job, because I will always go back to a set of 5. So I know that the deer have came all the way up here onto this fire pit area, believe it or not, and took a gobble of this right here. So if it was my job and I had pruned this one back, I would have pruned it probably back to this set of 5 leaves right here. So that's what my pruning job would have looked like, not a deer's job. So I know this right here was pruned from my deer. Wah, wah, wah. Still don't know big tips and tricks. I did put down Milorganite, which I have heard that will keep the deer away, because Milorganite is made from human waste, and I heard to put it down in clumps, and they don't like the smell. So you can see I have a big clump there and a big clump right here, and all around this garden, just to try to keep these deer from eating my roses. And they like the new growth. They like this growth right here. And that's where my roses are gonna come from. So this is Alexandra of Kent. I'm gonna have some real pretty blooms right there. I'll have to make sure I really try to share that one with you guys. And she is a big rose, but this one right here is medium size. Look how pretty that rose is. Gorgeous. So like this one right here, I'm gonna have 3 new blooms. So I don't want to take that whole cluster off. I just want to take just this one bloom off right there. Like so. For that one. So I still have lots of deadheading on this one to do as well. And this is the quadrant where the deer just devoured almost every bloom. I don't have hardly any blooms. So you can see right there the very tip tops of all of those just came and had its lunch or its dinner, whatever one you want to say that it is. Not very many blooms on this quadrant. This is Justicia Ave, and you can see that I have a pile of Milorganite down there. This quadrant right here is Gabrielle Oak. This is again where the deer did a pruning job for me. And look, oh my gosh, I am shocked that I have June bugs already. Look, I have more stuff that I have to battle. Ah, thought I grabbed it. Let's see. So that's what a June bug looks like right there. Oh, they're trying to get out of my hand. Gross. So actually I just like to squish them. That's nasty. I'm not gonna say it. So sometimes I squish them or put them in soapy water, and that will kill them as well. If I have a lot, I'll get some soapy water and just try to kill them that way. You know that these grubs will lay eggs into the grass, and that is what causes grubs. Or did I say that right? These beetles will lay eggs into the grass, and that is what causes grubs. So not only do you have to treat and kill these Japanese beetles, but you have to prevent and kill the grubs that are in your grass, or they'll eat the roots into your grass. So I need to remove this allium, and that's all I pretty much do is just cut it all the way back, or sometimes I'll try to pull it up. Down there it's not gonna come up very good. So I'm just gonna come down here and just cut it, and then when this dies back, it'll pull up easy. So that was my gorgeous blue, purple. So this was my gorgeous purple blooms that the bumblebees absolutely loved. And these are all the spent. Some people will save these as a dried flower, and they'll spray them with some kind of paint. But I'm not gonna do that. There's some new growth. Deer damage. Spent blooms. There's a small rose of Gabriello, just a beautiful hot pink color. And then again, this is the same Eustacia Ive, where I just told you that the deer just really got all of these. But I have a few blooms still. Really pretty, soft pink. And then I have some alliums that need to be removed as well. And then they also do love hydrangeas. And I feel like they even took off more, I don't know. But look at my hydrangeas where they've gotten all of my spent blooms on that too. It kind of breaks my heart. Thank gosh I've got 12 of these beautiful plants all the way down the side of the house, so I still am going to have lots of gorgeous blooms. If I can still keep them away. They like the new foliage. I believe once they start blooming, they'll leave it alone. This pennisetum, this is the first time this pennisetum has actually bloomed. Got a lot of bees on this flower here. Look at that. You can see them all buzzing around. And then the Shasta daisies are looking gorgeous too. It's the first part of June and it's been a couple of weeks since I deadheaded all of these roses. I've already had my first flush of blooms and I'm about to have my second one. So I'm going to turn the camera around and show you how nice and tidy these roses are after deadheading them all and trimming them back after the first initial blooms. And I have a few new blooms to share with you also. So I'm in the middle of the fire pit area right now, and I have 4 quadrants all the way around the circle of the fire pit. This quadrant right here is Gabrielle oak. This rose smells divine, and as you can see, the buds come out red and then turn out to more like a hot pink color. So this rose did really well, had lots of blooms initially, and then we gave this rose a quick trim and a good deadheading, and you can see that I have lots of new growth coming out and lots of new blooms as well. So look at all this red, all this is new growth, and all of these are going to turn out to be some type of buds. So this rose hasn't been as large as it was last year, but I think at the end of the season, when it starts to cool down a little bit, these roses get a little bit larger. So let me back up, and you can see that I don't have any really long canes. I've trimmed them all back and made it a little bit nice and tidier. So it's a little bit more eye-pleasing on the eye, especially with all these boxwoods. So I have like 2 different tiers here, right? I've got the boxwoods and then my David Austin roses with the Gabrielle oak. I do love the foliage on this rose as well. And then panning over here in the other corner, you can see that it's separated by my crepe myrtle. I don't have any new blooms on that yet, but I do have the Japanese beetles trying to attack it. Can you see the damage right there in those Japanese beetles? So I need to get me a large sprayer to try to combat these. I mean, they will destroy your foliage, and it's not pretty. And I have a phenomenal lavender in between each quadrant. It's doing quite well in this container, my aged pot. And in this quadrant, the deer got a big part of these, so I didn't really get to see like a gorgeous flush. I did get a few blooms. This is Eustasia Ave. Look at the perfection of that rose. I love a rose that has many petals, as this one does. This one has many colors, so it comes out and it's a hot pink, and then sometimes even a lighter pink. Lots of new growth. Lots of new growth on this rose as well. And this one's been pruned back. So I'm pretty excited about some new blooms, and I'm really trying to combat the deer by using some type of spray, and or I've been putting Milorganite down as clumps, and that's been trying to help them as well. Here's the Milorganite all clumped up right there. If you spray it evenly, they say it doesn't work, but the Milorganite is made from human waste. Has a lot of iron in it, and the deer can smell that, but we cannot smell it. So I'm trying to make my way over to this other rose that's a little bit lighter pink right here. So look how gorgeous this is. So I have this lighter pink on one rose, which is the same rose, Eustasia Ave, and I have this hotter pink all on the same rows. So lots of different colors, which I think adds a lot of great interest. So I'm currently at the very back of my property looking up at this rose garden. I just love it. I love the formalness that it brings to the garden. The lavender brings some whimsical and different color with the purples. And then I do have structure over here with the Oakland hollies. And all that purple in the Galloway urn is just absolutely gorgeous. Look how beautiful that container is. You can see the hot pink roses over there from Alexandra of Kent peeking up, and the roses from the Boscobel as well. So let's make our way over to the other side. So I'm on the other side, and this is Alexandra of Kent. She's the biggest rose of all, and she is another hot pink. Alexandra of Kent has lots of blooms as well. We've had a lot of rain this year, so I have been battling with some black spot because of the rain. A lot more rain, which I know some of my followers been complaining that they have not had enough rain, but this is what black spot looks like. And I have been treating this rose with the copper fungicide. It probably needs to be sprayed again. It looks better than it used to. And all the leaves that dropped from the fungicide, I actually picked up from the bottom and disposed of it in the trash can. You do not want to put any leaves that have been diseased with fungicide in your compost. So it's starting to look better, even though it still doesn't look great, but her blooms are still absolutely gorgeous. Alexandra of Kent has really long canes, as you can see, this cane right here. So when I trim her back, I have to really trim severely to get this shrub to be mounded up again. We'll have some new buds coming out there. The bumblebee, oh, it just went off. The bumblebee is enjoying life on this lavender. Look how gorgeous that is. Everybody knows I'm obsessed with bumblebees. It's making its way around that flower there. And this quadrant right here is Boscobel, and I'm going to throw a picture up of how beautiful Boscobel was earlier this year with all the gorgeous blooms. And I do love this one as well. I love the color. This one's actually my favorite so far. And I love the color because it's hot pink and corals all on the same rose. So each rose looks a little bit different in color. But I love when it gives me this coral pink color. Trying to keep my shadows out. So I had a lot of dead blooms on this one. This is the one that I was demonstrating in the video. You can see where I pruned it all back here, and this one's starting to give me some new growth as well. So deadheading and pruning will promote new blooms, not just on a rose, but on different perennials as well. And I gotta show this beautiful girl. She's looking pretty this morning. She's tied around the light. Sasha, are you tied around the light? Yeah. So here's another view a little bit further back. Grass is looking great. I have some videos with grass care. I love the Anderson's products that you can get off Amazon, and all those links are in my description. If you hit more, you will find all the products that I use, including the BioCare 3-in-1 that I put on the roses, and then I fertilize with Rose Tone from Espoma as well, and then that copper fungicide will be on that as well. But look how pretty this garden is. Just love it. Just loving this container, so I wanted to share it with you. This is the Silver Falls Dicandra Falls right here. It is a proven winners plant, but look how dainty. It reminds me of lace. I don't know what it reminds you of, but it reminds me of lace. Gorgeous. I love how that it hangs down and gives you a spiller, but doesn't really cover the whole entire container as well. So I can still enjoy the beauty and detail of this Galloway urn. And the purple that you're seeing here is Super Bell's Blue Moon Punch. And I have 4 of these in this container, and it fills it in very, very nicely. Now, when I look at this container further back, I'll look and say, like, yes, I would like to repeat this next year because I think it's absolutely gorgeous. However, I think what I want to do next year is have the Dicandra Falls, the Blue Moon Punch, and then put the Blue Moon Punch all the way around. And then I don't think I'm gonna put in the yellow, but I love the Diamond Frost all the way around. So I think it would be gorgeous to have the Diamond Frost all the way around, and then have the Gomphrena and the Queen Tut. To me, I think that would be really pretty, a little bit more simple, even though that I try to add yellow into the garden as much as I can. But to me, I think I'm gonna try that next year. I think it'll be really, really pretty. This is the new Super Bell's Yellow. And then this is the new Queen Tut. This one has a little bit shorter habit and then kind of comes out a little bit more instead of just straight up. So I love the habit of this grass, and it just mingles really well with the Queen Tut. Look how gorgeous just that would be in a container only. So pretty. Both of these have done really well this year. So in this little quadrant, this is the very end of my cottage garden. There's not a whole lot of blooms to see over here. This one right here has suffered from some type of fungus, and this one dropped almost all of its leaves and still has dropped some, but has made a rebound. So I did spray this with the coppercide and gave it some of the Rose Care, the Bio Advanced Rose Care 3-in-1. This one is Olivia and has done quite well. I have a couple of new shoots coming off on this one. And then I already shared how gorgeous this rose right here was with all the clematis, but the clematis is about ready to lose all of its blooms. I have a few just hanging on there, but not very pretty. I will cut this clematis back, and I was scared to do that last year, but I got a new flush. So excited about that. So unfortunately the deer did get this rose right here, so I didn't have a lot of new blooms early in the season. But this one is Olivia, and this one's really just a small rose. Not normally, but this bloom right here is small. So just to give you an idea what Olivia looks like, but she's usually way more gorgeous than this. Sometimes we win and sometimes we lose. Do have a gorgeous dahlia peeking out right here. This one looks better than my rose right now. This dahlia has lots of different colors on it as well. Orange, yellow to hot pink. This one right here is Thomas Graham. I have 3 roses, and this one was the first to bloom. And I love it's a little bit of different color with the orange apricot to yellow color, and then it almost ages out to a white. So I really only have 1 bloom in bloom right now, and this is what it looks like right now. Perfection. And I have a gorgeous picture when this one was in full bloom, and I'll put that up as well. I think I did a short on it. It's gorgeous. This one is my newest rose addition to the side garden, the west garden, and this is Munstead Wood. And I'm so happy that I got to see blooms the very first year. This was planted bare root. I bought 4 and 2 of them didn't make it, but there is a 5-year guarantee on this rose. And there's the other one. And this is a climbing rose that I had just put this This is a rambler rose that I just put on this trellis, and I don't see too many blooms on that one just yet. No. This is the rambler rose that I put on the trellis earlier this year, and I pruned that one all back, and I don't see any new blooms on that one just yet. But this one was starting to get pretty woolly, I guess is the term I should say, or out of control, and I pruned that one all the way back and got it back looking nice and tidy. So I hope this video was helpful, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye, friends.